yogis, and welcome to today's practice. I have an awesome beginner flow with no downward facing dog. So if you have any shoulder injury or shoulder pain that makes downward dog uncomfortable for you, or if you just really don't like doing downward facing dog, which is totally reasonable, this is a great practice. It's still going to get you a good workout. You're still going to build strength and flexibility. We're just going to take out the downward facing dog. So let's get started. We're going to start off in our easy seated pose. I'm going to use a blanket here just to get a little bit more comfortable. Sitting right on it, just to lift up my hips. It just helps me to elongate through my spine, creating a nice, neutral, and tall seated position. And we're going to begin just by getting grounded into our practice today. So you can close your eyes at this point, or just cast your gaze down. And begin by focusing a little bit on the breath. Just noticing your inhales and your exhales here. Not forcing anything, but just noticing the breath. And letting your focus come inward as you transition from your day onto your mat. Just sort of leaving anything that is not yoga. Just let it go. And taking this time for yourself to practice. Take a moment to take a quick scan of your body, noticing if any part of your body needs a little extra care. That might be your shoulders today, or your neck, or your wrist, or maybe even your knees. But whatever part might be bothering you, just acknowledge it, notice it, and take care of it throughout your practice. On your next inhale, inhale for a count of 5. So inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exhale for a count of 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and again inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And just continuing your deep breaths. And on your next inhale, open your eyes and let's begin moving. So inhaling the arms up, overhead, exhaling the hands to heart center. Again, just connecting our breath with our movement as we begin to warm up. Reaching up, exhaling the hands down. On our next inhale, we'll reach up and then twisting to the right, bringing the left hand onto the right knee. Inhaling the arms up to center, exhaling the right hand to the left knee. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhaling up, exhaling left hand to right knee. Inhaling up. Exhale right hand to left knee. Coming to center. Exhaling the hands to heart center. Bringing the right hand down alongside of us and lifting the left arm up. Beginning to feel a stretch through the side body. You can be up on the fingertips, on the right fingertips. You can plant your hand down, and for For a more intense stretch, you can even begin to bend your elbow. Inhaling back up, bringing the left fingertips or hand onto the mat, and bringing the right arm up, stretching through the side body. And inhaling back to center. Perfect. Now let's remove the blanket from under your seat if you have one, and you can put it off to the side for now. And we'll come onto our hands and knees. So hands are under the shoulders, wrists under shoulders, fingers are spread wide, knees under the hips, tops of the feet down on the mat. Coming into a neutral spine. And on our inhale, we'll curve the tailbone, lift the chest up, coming into cow pose. Exhaling, rounding the back, chin to chest, coming into cat pose. And we'll just move a few times between cat and cow here. Following our breath, warming up the spine. If you're a little ahead of me or a little behind, that's okay. Just kind of going with what feels good. Let's come back to a neutral spine. And we'll extend the right leg out onto the toes and give yourself a little calf stretch here. And then inhaling the leg up. Foot is flexed, pushing through the heel. And inhaling as we bring the knee to the nose. Exhale, pushing the knee back. Inhaling, stepping the right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. So you want to make sure that your knee doesn't go past your ankle. And we'll inhale, rising up. If you're taking care of your shoulder, you might find it more comfortable with your hands at heart center here. Watching the alignment of that knee. Take a breath. Lengthen through the top of the head. Bringing the hands down alongside the front foot, curling the toes on the back foot, coming up, lifting the knee into a low lunge here, and then stepping the left foot forward to meet the right, coming into a forward fold. I'm just dangling here for a moment. You can keep a generous bend in the knees to protect the low back. On your next inhale, coming into halfway lift, hands onto shins, chest forward, crown of the head forward. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise as we come to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center, samastitihi. Take a moment to breathe. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the right foot back, coming into that lunge. Bringing the right knee down, top of the foot onto the mat. And rising up. Hands to heart center if it's more comfortable, watching the alignment of the knee over the ankle. Bringing our hands down alongside our feet and bringing the left foot back to meet the right and pressing back down into child's pose. Forehead can be on the mat. Big toes are touching. If your forehead isn't quite coming there to the mat, you can bring your forehead onto your fists. On your next inhale, rising back up onto all fours. Bringing the left foot out and putting the toes on the floor, stretching out that calf again. You can even bounce a little bit here. And lifting the leg, pushing through the heel. Inhale, exhale, rounding the back, knee to nose. Inhale, reaching out through the heel. Exhale, bringing the left foot forward, coming into the low lunge. Inhale, rise up. Bringing the hands alongside the left foot, curling the right toes under, lifting the knee, pressing back through the heel. Inhaling, stepping the right foot forward to meet the left, coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Hands up over the head. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Taking a moment to breathe. On our next inhale, lengthening, taking a deep breath in, and exhaling as we sit back into chair pose. So, firming the legs, keeping the belly pulling in. Arms can be at heart center or reaching up for more strength. On your next breath, lift, putting all the weight into the left foot and stepping back with the right, coming into crescent lunge. Taking a moment, pressing down through the heel, watching that alignment of the knee over the ankle, keeping the pelvis tucked. And then opening up into warrior two. So heel to heel, knee over the ankle, reaching out on either side, strong like a warrior. Grounding down through the feet, lifting up through the crown of the head and reaching out through the fingertips, creating this dynamic tension. Inhale, straighten the leg, kick out the right hip, reach with your left fingertips, coming into triangle pose. Keeping a slight bend in the front leg and both legs, making sure we're not hyperextending. Inhaling, rise up, warrior two. Coming back into our high lunge. Hands to heart center and stepping up to mountain pose. Now we'll do that same sequence on the other side. So sitting back into chair, keeping our navel pushing towards the spine, lengthening. Shifting all of the weight into the right leg, stepping the left leg back, coming into a crescent lunge. Again, watching the alignment of our knee, our front knee, and breathing. Reaching through the fingertips. And then opening up into warrior two. Heel to heel alignment, watching that front knee making sure it's not coming over the ankle. It can be behind. You just don't want it to be over. And gaze over the fingertips, pelvis tucked in, pressing through the knife edge of the back foot. Straightening the front leg, reaching through the right fingertips, and coming down into extended triangle. Again, if you're taking care of your shoulder, you can bring your hand to your hip. It might be a little bit more comfortable. Inhaling, rise up. And then pivot your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. And we'll come into a wide forward fold. So inhale, opening up through the chest. Exhale, lowering down, folding at the hips. Pressing evenly through all four corners of your feet. Knees are bent slightly, or maybe more than slightly, whatever feels good. That micro bend in the knee is really going to protect your lower back in any of these forward folds, whether it's just our standard forward fold or if we're doing wide-legged forward fold. Bringing your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise up. And stepping back to the top of your mat to mountain pose. Bringing the hands to heart center. We'll ground down through the right foot, stepping back with the left, coming again into our high lunge. And from here, we're going to start a little bit of a balancing sequence. So, in our high lunge position, we're going to transition to warrior three. So we'll come up, balancing on the right leg as we begin to bring our body and leg parallel to the floor. And you might stay here, you might fall out, but just get back into it. And when you're ready, inhaling the left knee forward and grabbing hold of it with your hands as you balance here. And exhaling, release. Perfect. So our balance changes from day to day. It depends on what we eat or how we slept or how much water we've had. So just be patient with yourself. There's a saying that anybody does yoga and does balancing poses, but a yogi is the one who gets back into the pose when they come out. So if you fell out of the pose and you went back in, you're officially a yogi. So let's do the same thing on the other side. So grounding down through the left foot, we'll come into our high lunge. Breathing here. Just finding our proper alignment. Feeling the stretch through the hips. And when you're ready, begin to shift the weight into the front leg as you rise up, coming into warrior three. And you can extend your arms forward. If you're feeling frisky with your balance. Keeping the hips and your body parallel, pushing through the back heel. And when you're ready, bringing the knee forward, grabbing it with both hands. Again, balancing here, grounding down through that left leg. Exhale, release your feet down. Perfect. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale your hands down. Stepping back into a low lunge, lowering the left knee down. And bring your right knee back and coming into child's pose. And let's breathe a moment here. On your next inhale, rise up. And we'll come to a seated position. So we're going to go into boat pose, which is really a core focused pose. And I'll show you, we'll sort of ease into boat pose and you can find the variation that feels the best for you today. So we'll sort of come back onto your tailbone, keeping the chest open and the back straight. And you can begin by just holding behind the knees and lifting one foot at a time. Coming here. If you'd like a little more challenge, you can come with both feet up in the air, maintaining that alignment. For more strength, you can let your hands go and reach. So finding whichever variation of boat feels good. And release. Perfect. Now bringing the soles of our feet together, coming into bound angle pose. Inhaling as we open the chest. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming forward till you sort of can't go any farther, and then just rounding your back. If you feel discomfort in your knees at all, you can put some blankets or pillows under your knees. Just find where it feels good. Inhaling, rise up. Bringing the knees together, soles of the feet onto the mat. And we'll slowly exhale, bringing one vertebrae at a time down onto the mat. And coming and preparing for happy baby pose. So again, we will go with some variations here, and you'll find the variation that suits you today. Might be different than what suited you yesterday. So bringing our feet to face the ceiling, face the sky, bringing our hands to the back of our hips. This is sort of our first variation. Our focus is keeping the neck long and the shoulders down. You can also bring your hands to the outsides of your feet as you open up here. Again, focus on the shoulder. And if it feels good, you can even rock side to side here. Add a little massage to your happy baby. Inhale, bring your feet together and release your soles of your feet onto the mat. Bring the hands alongside you. We'll come into our final poses, into our spinal twist, supine spinal twist. So shifting onto the left heel, knees, onto the left hip, knees to the left, arms out to a T. And if it feels comfortable, you can look over your right shoulder. Bringing your head back to center, bringing your knees up, shifting your hips to the other side, bringing the knees over to the right, spinal twist on the other side. And if it's comfortable, looking over the left shoulder. You can always look up if it's too much of a strain on the neck. head back to center and your knees back to center. You can hug your knees into your chest. Again, rock side to side. Take any final last movements before we prepare for Shavasana. And as we prepare for Shavasana, you can extend your legs out, palms facing up, just relaxing the feet out. For a little more protection for the lower back, you can even go into Shavasana with the soles of your feet on the mat and knees bent. Can provide a little bit of relief, just really finding whatever position feels relaxing. And once you've found that position, allowing the breath to return to normal, beginning to relax all of our muscles. So relaxing the muscles in the face, relaxing the jaw, relaxing our shoulders, our arms, all the way down to our fingertips. Relaxing the chest and the belly and the hips. Relaxing our legs, all the way down to the ankles, to the feet, to the toes. Welcoming any thoughts you might have and just releasing them as soon as they come in. Staying here as long as you have the time or feels good. When you're ready, beginning to wiggle the toes and the fingers, inviting movement back into the body. Rolling over onto one side. Taking a moment for gratitude for today's practice, for working hard, taking care of yourself. Pushing yourself up onto a seated position, cross-legged. Feels good. You can get that blanket under your seat. Bringing the hands to heart center. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed teaching it. Namaste.